This is Eric B. Horn, and welcome to AskEricB. This is where I get to engage my fans, my overall community, and be very direct on helping solving their problems. So what we're going to do today is answer 3 quick questions from my community. I've been in these type of situations before. My main drive is to always give you guys the best advice. We have Ann, and the topic of Ann's question is my boss trying to replace me? Here's a question. I work for a private small financial firm and doing the type of work which requires a special license as the only license in my field. My day-to-day workload is pretty heavy but still manageable. My boss is trying to hire another licensed engineer without even consulting with me, which makes me very uneasy. Do you have any suggestions for me, Eric? Sure, actually I have 4. Based off of the scenario, you have to read between the lines and kind of paint a picture. First and foremost, you work for a private and small financial firm. So if it's small, every business, in a sense, wants to grow. And based off of that, for you to grow, you need more work. And if you already have a heavy workload, I'm pretty sure your boss is just thinking right now you just are sustaining as opposed to growing. And sometimes to grow in a company, you have to hire other individuals that can take on more workload. I mean, it's just a common thread when it comes to business. And also when someone is hiring someone else, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are trying to replace you. In some instances, that is the case. However, there's always some sort of backstory. For example, if you are being disruptive at the company or you're not producing the way that your boss is looking for you to produce, but you really don't know the definite reason why that they are trying to hire someone else. You want to look at it from a positive perspective, and they're hiring someone else to get more of the workload done. And one of the things that stood out also in your question was the person that they are looking for to hire is someone who has the license that you don't have, which can be intimidating because you're thinking that this person that they are going to hire has more skill set than you, have more credibility than you, but from their perspective, they just want someone that is, a little bit more knowledgeable in that space, which is totally fine from a business perspective. But even in a sense that makes you uneasy, you want to ask yourself the question, do you need to start working towards that license that they are looking for? If you've been doing the day-to-day for such long, you have a very good understanding of the in and outs of the company. But for your own self-development, for your own ease of mind, I think whatever this certification or this license is, you need to look at how you need to acquire it. And not only for the job that you're at right now, but even for future jobs, especially if this is an industry that you want to stay in. You already know the license that's required, so why don't you start to take the necessary steps towards getting that license? Question number 2, and this is from Katie. Her topic is, how do you deal with coworkers who are consistently putting you down or trying to one-up you? I work with some people who are less qualified than me. I don't make a big deal about my work experience. Right now, I'm doing a part-time internship while I'm finishing my dissertation. So I am trustfully just keeping my head down so I can do the work and leave. I have one particular coworker who's consistently putting me down or trying to one-up me. How do I stop this behavior? Ignoring it isn't working. Have a conversation with him or her and just be very direct. What's going on here? What is the reason why you're doing all this? I don't appreciate it, and I really want to get to the bottom of it. And even if this isn't your personality, you're going to have to do something different. Turning the other cheek may not work in this sense. If you don't stand up for yourself, you're going to continually to be pushed around. Clearly, they're jealous. They are jealous of you based off of your accomplishments, because you better believe the people around your office, even though you don't talk about it, they know about your accomplishments because people talk. A level of insecurity. They are insecure because they see you and you are the best representation of who they will never become. Brian asks, what do I do about a job causing depression? My job is really starting to impact me mentally, not usually my happy self. However, I am so close to bonus time, and while it's not guaranteed, I did get one last year, so I have my fingers crossed. So I'm unsure of whether to look for another job or to stay. I do have a major life event next year, and I don't want to make too many changes. What do I do? Stop connecting your job with your overall happiness, or in this sense, with your unhappiness. Most important pieces of advice that my very first boss gave me. He told me you need to leave your job at that door. So in a sense, he said, imagine yourself, your job is on your head. So as soon as you walk out the door, you take your job and leave it at the door. It'll be there tomorrow. Because once you leave, how you show up at your job is how you're going to show up at home. And a lot of people take the stress and the frustration of the job and they put it on their spouse or their kids, and a good thing. And as much as the stress and as much as the depression builds up, you have to have a mental switch to turn it off as soon as you leave out the office. As soon as you leave work on time, leave everything that you have going on in the office. That means don't check email at home, don't check email on your phone, leave it at your job. So if you guys are listening and you want me to give you some advice based off of your career business, feel free to shoot your question over to info@ericbhorn.com. That's info, I-N-F-O, @ericbhorn.com. And I'll say it again for the people in the back, info@ericbhorn.com. Thank you again for your time and listening to another episode of Ask Eric B. Have a good one, guys.